Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
And a very good morning, everyone. Tuned into Off and Pacing this Monday. Tim Walker, MIA, as well as he will be in the parade ring a bit later on, actually fairly soon, as we have Gloucester Park racing today. But joining me on Off and Pacing this morning is Ollie Cownie and Richard Bell. Ollie, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Leah.
And Richie, a very good morning to you. Nice to have you on the show.
Yeah, good morning, Leah, and good morning, Ollie.
Wonderful. Now, we had a big night of pacing there at Albion Park on Saturday. So before we get into local chit-chat, let's just go back to a replay here from race 7 at Albion Park, where we saw Leap to Fame take out the win.
Gets away. Swayze is all out. He has no answers for his little brother. Leap to Fame into the home straight. Leap to Fame clear the margin 7 metres. Swayze is second and can't find a better man. Hector running on. Leap to Fame. Light up his name. Light it up. Leap to Fame. Leap to Fame brilliantly wins the Black Safake. Downing Swayze. Hector can't find a better man.
Yes, Leap to Fame took out the win there for race 7. And Ollie, I believe you were trackside for this race.
Felt very lucky to be there. It was an awesome watch seeing the champion win again, and he was forced to do it the hard way with "Hi, my name is Jeff" deciding to hold the lead, and they ran along the whole way, and he ended up running a track record, which he's got a few of now, Leap to Fame. So it was really an incredible win, and Swayze had done no work out the back, and he loomed into it strongly, but was just no match for Leap to Fame, who won really impressively, won by 7 metres. And Swayze, although he is a real star himself, he looks destined to be the bridesmaid going forward, and just seems no match at the moment for Leap to Fame, who's really stamped himself a champion of the sport now.
It was a sensational win. And Richie, I know I was in here working with you on this Saturday while you were calling out Narrogin, and I know that you thought that was quite an incredible win as well.
It was just ferocious the way we went about it, and when you look back in the field, they were spread out over so many metres, and horses like Nirvana and District Attorney, who were both good run-on horses, and, you know, there was a solid speed. They were just left absolutely floundering, you know, beaten a long, long way. So it was one of the best performances I've seen in the last couple of seasons.
Let's get straight into horses to follow now from Gloucester Park on Friday. Fantastic racing, of course, here in the West as well. And before we get into you and, well, Richie and Ollie's selections, let's go back to a replay from race 5 at Gloucester Park, the Botra Cup.
Rock coming off the back. Rock Artist leads by 2 metres. Karana. Lusaka's about to pull out wider. Chivalry. Then Franco Mecca, the inside. Paracat. Call me what you want. Around the turn they run. 28-6 the third quarter. Karana has raced up on the outside. Karana put the nose in front, trying to fight back as Rock Artist. And then Lusaka and Franco Mecca. But it's Karana and Rock Artist stride for stride. Karana's just in front of Rock Artist. Karana pulling away from Rock Artist, and McDonald gets it home. Karana from Rock Artist. Franco Mecca came through it on the inside.
Karana took out the win there at value odds. Rich, you called the race. What were your thoughts when the runners were heading into the back straight?
Well, he got such a brilliant start, Karana, and he put meterage on Lusaka in the early stages. It was probably the key to the victory. Rock Artist was beautifully rated out in front by Chris Stoke, but had no answer there for Karana, who is a smart horse and had trialled very well at Byford on the Sunday. So no surprise to see him win. The surprise was probably, Ollie, the $11 that they bet about Karana.
Definitely. It was one of those things where he probably did put in a bit of a flat run the previous week or the previous run, and maybe that sort of meant that Lusaka seemed the class runner and might just be too good. But Karana got that one spot closer than Lusaka in the run, and that proved somewhat of a difference. But Karana was just so dominant in the end and was a really impressive winner off 30 metres. One of my horses to follow was actually in this race, and it was Lou Capello, who gallops right out the back in the early stages and lost all that ground, but was only beaten 22 metres in the end. So there were some quite good runs in there, but Corona was a really dominant and impressive winner.
All right, so one of your horses to follow. Oh, sorry, Rich.
That's all right. No, I know Russell Betts clocked a very fast last 2,000 there for Luke Capello. So if he can step from a stand cleanly, which it hasn't really been doing, or return to a mobile and draw a gate, it's going to be pretty hard to beat.
All right, so one of your horses to follow there as well, Ollie. And before we get into your 3 tips as well as you, Rich, or horses to follow from Friday, we'll also have a look back on the race after, which was the free-for-all.
The code breaker, and last of all is Better Aim down the back. Soho Dow Jones at the 450, leads by 1.5 metres. Never Ending travelled up comfortably on the outside, talks up a storm, runs into a clear third, Hampton Banner, and then came Armour Rhinestone back on the inside up to the turn they run. 28 won the next quarter. Soho Dow Jones just in front. Never Ending the outside, talks up a storm is running home gamely 3 wide. Armour Rhinestone drove up behind them in the straight. It's Soho Dow Jones and Never Ending. Never Ending has surged past Soho Dow Jones, talks up a storm, and then came Armour Rhinestone, but Never Ending's doing it well over the final stages, and Prentice sends him home. Never Ending has won by 4 metres to talks up a storm, a metre away Armour Rhinestone.
No disappointment there for favourite punters, with Justin Prentice taking out the win with Never Ending. Ollie, no surprises here, or did you think that another horse could have taken out the win?
I think Never Ending always looked the hardest to beat there, but Justin Prentice, expertly driven, he was really smart there. They weren't going that fast in the early stages, and he decided to dash around to the breeze and really just control the race from there, and he won fairly easily in the end, despite the margin not being that big. Talks Up a Storm was good. He got a really soft run in the race and ran on well for second. Really fast horse, so probably suited by the short trip, and Soho Dow Jones there led them up and was beaten by obviously a very good horse in Never Ending, who looks on track for the Eureka, which is quickly approaching.
Rich, what were your thoughts in the free-for-all?
Yeah, it was a great drive by Justin Prentice, who seems to be really enjoying things out on the track now, driving here and there since Gary Hall Jr. has been suspended. And Gary, of course, got two weeks knocked off that suspension, which is really good news for Gary. They came home 56-1, so the horse definitely did enough, and really interesting comments post-race too in his interview with Timmy, that Never Ending just wanted to keep going after that, after the finish, going into the back straight when horses were coming up alongside him. He said he felt really relaxed and almost too comfortable. So it was a very dominant win. We'll see him again, I think, next Friday night before he heads away. So that will be really good for pacing next Friday night at Gloucester Park, a bit of a highlight.
Yes, definitely one to keep our eye on as well in the coming weeks. And we'll get straight into horses to follow. Ollie, let's start with you from Friday night at Gloucester Park.
My second horse to follow was actually out of that free-for-all race. Armour Einstein was tucked away on the pegs there, which is his go, but he looked to be really bolting for a run and just had nowhere to go in the later stages. I think if he did get clear, he really would have finished off strongly and been right in the finish there. So he's a horse that I think is going a lot better than his numerical form suggests, and he does need a soft trip in this kind of grade, but I think if he gets it, he can be a real player in one of the free-for-alls.
All right, so that is your second tip, race 6, number 7, Armour Einstein, and your third?
Third one comes up in race 8. I think there's a horse here that's going extremely well in Crowd Control. He burned off the gate early and they ran pretty quickly, 36 lead time in that race, and the leader held Lady Prima Donna and dropped out and got beat 48 metres in the end, and Crowd Control was still right there in the finish, and on the corner he looked the winner. He'd been one of the odds who loomed up into it, but Coney Island Lou showed a great turn of foot and run them down in the later stages. But I thought the run of Crowd Control was really impressive, and he looks right at his best at the moment.
Yes, and we can get more thoughts on that as well a little bit later on, as Mitchell Miller will be joining us on the show towards the tail end. So race 8, number 4, Crowd Control, one for you to follow, as well as race 6, number 7, Armour Einstein. And you did mention one earlier on, Ollie, just to confirm, which horse was that one?
In race 5, Luke Capello, as Richie mentioned, Russell Betts clocked him going an incredibly fast time to catch up the field, and he was only beaten 22 metres, but he lost a lot more ground than that in the early stages. So, as Richie said, if Luke Capello can improve his manners from the stands, then he's one to follow.
Rich, your thoughts from Friday night at Gloucester Park, horses to follow?
Yeah, got a few early on. Tubbs Farquhar, I thought, went really well. He almost crossed, went within inches of getting past Rock and Roll Spirit, and then he would have gone to the front from Boulder Yates, and he probably would have won the race. He had to drag back after being caught wide to second last, and then steamed home again out wide. And although beaten a clear margin on the line, around about 9 metres, I thought the effort was terrific, and the money was there to suggest that maybe he could cross and dictate the race. It didn't quite happen, and a few punters left it in the bag, but I think he's definitely a horse to follow. He's got good gate speed. He can run on strongly as well, so he's pretty versatile. Out of race number 2, I thought State of Heaven went really well. He had to surge up 3 wide on his own and really poured it on going into the back straight. The second quarter there was only 29.6, so I guess he was entitled to forge into it in a sense. But then they've come home in 56.3, and he was still fighting on really well on the turn. He only dropped off that last 100, and I thought it was a brave effort by State of Heaven with a more economical run at his next start. I think it'd be hard to beat because he's been going extremely well. Rattling Lily in race 3 was just terrific again. What a run it was. 3 wide from the 1,200 metre mark, coming around the outside. Has got amazing lung capacity, and to run second was just an outstanding effort. And she's going as well as any mare at the moment, apart from Penny Black and Artie by the Seaside. And in race number 4, I thought there was a forgivable run here, Hold the Ammo. When it made its move, it sort of got pushed off the track. It's still learning what it's about at Gloucester Park with the fierce competitive racing. So I'm prepared to save Hold the Ammo for another day and give it another shot. If it gets a good barrier draw, this horse does have a really good turn of foot. And the other horse, obviously, out of that race, which everyone saw, was Massimo, was just an outstanding effort for Justin Prentice, steaming home down the outside and was giving them a big start on the home turn. And he's definitely a horse to follow, and he could end up being a top 3-year-old, I think, Massimo, and he'll still have some very good 2-year-old days as well.
All right, quite a few horses to follow there for you, Rich. I echo your sentiments in regards to Rattling Lily after race 3. I thought it was a fantastic driving performance there by Denny Roberts. So just to recap the Friday horses to follow, Ollie's race 5, number 6, Luca Pello, race 6, number 7, Armour Einstein, and race 8, number 4, Crowd Control. Richie Bell's horses to follow, race 1, number 7, Tubbs Farquhar, race 2, number 5, State of Heaven, race 3, number 12, Rattling Lily, and in race 4, number 11, Hold the Ammo, but also keep your eye on I'm Massimo. Let's swing our attention to Gloucester Park today. Not often that we race here on a Monday, but Rich will be joining you not so far away into the future. Let's see, first at 11:33. All right, less than 2 hours away. And Ollie, who are your standout chances today going into the 12 race card?
In the second race, there was one that I thought was really big odds. Queen of All, I was really taken by her run last start behind Captains Have Time. Thought she looked to be travelling quite easily in behind them, and if she had gotten clear a little bit earlier, she would have really powered to the line. I think Queen of All, and Aidan DeCampo jumps on in this race. He generally gets horses away really well from the gate, so they do have some options in that race. I think probably the most likely option is to just duck in and look for some cover, but I think if Queen of All does get that really good run, she can be finishing off strongly late at really big each-way odds. In race 5, there's a horse I think that's worth forgiving from their last start effort, Artistic Scribe. There was a few horses in that race that just in that day, which just didn't handle the rails. It had been a bit wet, so I think we can just forgive that run from Artistic Scribe, dropping out after leading. The run prior was fantastic, was only beaten by Chambray, but did all the work in the race and still was kicking on strongly late, battling right down to the line. So I thought Artistic Scribe, faced by a bit of an awkward draw, but big each-way odds. So I thought that was a good way to play race 5. And then race 7, my best bet of the day, as I mentioned earlier, Tantabiddy. Just a horse with really good gate speed, draws the inside gate, he can hold the front, I think, pretty easily in the early stages, and from there can prove hard to beat. His most recent win was when leading and controlling the race and just kicked on and was too good there. So I think he can do exactly the same here. He's most likely his biggest danger is Rascal, who he can keep to his outside and hold that advantage. So Tantabiddy, race 7, I thought was the best of the day.
Wonderful. So race 2, number 3, Queen of All. Race 5, You Like Artistic Scribe and Best Bet. So race 7, number 1, Tantabiddy. Over to you, Rich. What are your thoughts ahead of 2 days at 12 races?
Yeah, I'm just going to go late in the card. I thought Medieval Man was really well placed today. It's coming off a 3.5-week freshen up. It's drawn gate number 6, but it's a horse that can work forward and loves the 2,536. It's won 3 races over the distance, whereas a few of the others haven't quite performed up to their best capabilities over the 25 as opposed to the 21. And I think Denny Roberts can work this horse into the race and either try and rush it to the front or just rate it in the breeze. And it could just be a little bit too classy, the little horse Medieval Man for Kiara Davies and Denny Roberts. And then in the last 2 races, I thought there was a good place all up. Actually, it's race 10 and race 12. In race 10, I thought Court Can Run a place. It ran a really fast last 400 last start, and there could be a bit of heat in this race. So I thought Court Can Run has got a small winning chance as well. But I thought with the place into race 12, number 5, EB Aviator, who's a horse has really improved lately, and I thought his last start effort was very encouraging behind Sandy Shaw. Even though they only came 31-6, this is not a strong race. And out of all the horses in the race, it's probably racing the most consistently and effectively. So that's my all-up place there. Race 10, Court Can Run, into race 12, and that is Court Can Run into EB Aviator, the all-up place. And the 40/60 play would be Medieval Man. I'm not sure what price it's going to come up. Ollie, Medieval Man, what sort of quote could we expect in race number 6?
I think $2.50 or something like that, but I was totally on the same page with you there. I thought Medieval Man, in some of his races recently, he's just not been allowed to get a breather or control the race at all. So he looks really well placed in this company, and you'd think the 2,500 would be really suitable for him.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just make it a win only then. Forget the 40/60 lane.
All right, there you go. So, Rich, you're with race 6, number 6, Medieval Man, race 10, number 7, Court Can Run, and race 12, number 5, EB Aviator. We are racing tomorrow at Bunbury. And, Ollie, let's start off with your selections going into the card there.
Just got 2 for us at Bunbury to keep an eye on early. Race 6, Arian Rock. Looks well placed, I thought. Got a long way back last start in a race won by Mickey's Beach. He was 3 and 4 wide then, making his run. It just didn't work out for him at all. He pushed right off the track. I think again here, he looks to come up against a pretty nice horse in this race. So place looks best, but I think he can run a third or a second or a third, and should likely be quite good odds in this race. I think Man Down will probably go around a pretty short price favourite, and Arion Rock does a 6th and a 7th next to his name from his last 2 starts. So I thought he could be one at value.
Fantastic. So you've only got 2 selections, did you say, Ollie?
Yeah, only 2 selections at Bunbury, and the second one comes up in race 9. Al Sunshine has some gate speed, was able to lead for most of the way last start, and was just nabbed very late in the race there. I think this is a race that he can push on to the top again. Things changed. Drew won and looked to hold up last start, but dropped out and was well beaten after sitting in the leader's back trail. I think Al Sunshine looks the leader in that race, and if he does lead, it'll be awfully hard to catch.
Okay, so just the 2 selections for you there at Bunbury tomorrow, Ollie. Rich, over to you. What do you think?
Yeah, just going down to race number 2, and I thought Control Queen could run really well here. It might not be able to beat Lucy Kane, but Lucy Kane's still got to prove that it's back in some sort of form after a couple of failures. So I'm prepared to say Control Queen off its last start run, which was a very good effort behind Hot Rockefeller. They ran a quick last 600 metres or so, and it was a real battle of attrition. It only got touched off late, and there was a massive gap to third. So I think Control Queen can definitely run a place. So you'll be looking at, say, because Lucy Kane's in the race, I'd say 20 win, 80 place in terms of the percentage bet there in race number 2. And in race number 4, I thought the standout horse was Adore Me Some More for Chris Folk. Last start second to Secret Reaction and 159.1 reads well enough for a race of this nature where there doesn't look to be a lot of depth. And Adore Me Some More lately has shown that she's not just a front runner, she can sit and sprint pretty well as well. So that's the best for me. Race 4, Adore Me Some More, and race 2, mainly a place control queen and just a very small win investment as well.
All right, so 20% win, 80% place percentage bet there for race 2, number 5, Control Queen, and race 4, number 10, Adore Me Some More, your best bet, Rich. And just to recap Ollie's selections, race 6, number 10, Arian Rock, race 9, number 3, Al's Sunshine. Thank you very much for your time, Richie. We appreciate you coming on to be our guest star today, and we'll be joining you in under 2 hours there at Gloucester Park today.
Actually, I'm heading to Northern Greyhounds today because I'm the Tuesday man. Matt's the Monday man. So when there's a Gloucester Park on a Monday...
Oh, you've been given the boot.
Matty McDermott. Yeah, so I'm heading to the Bakers Hill Pie Shop immediately.
Oh, enjoy, and have a safe trip as well, Rich.
Good on you. Thanks, Leah. Thanks, Ollie.
Richard Bell there with his selections as well as horses to follow from Friday. Apologies, I got that wrong. We will not be joining Rich at Gloucester Park today, but we will be joining Tim Walker in the parade ring, so definitely make sure you jump onto the Racing WA Harness X page for all that information. Ollie will be back shortly after this quick break with Mitchell Miller.
Tab Radio, Racing and Sport, this is Off and Pacing.
Back here with Off and Pacing. It is 9:54 on TAB Radio, and we're about to join our next special guest, which is Mitch Miller. Mitch, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Leah. Hope it's nice and warm in the studio there. It looks like another sort of miserable day weather-wise for us out on the track, but hopefully a couple of winners and we can make it all worthwhile.
Yes, fingers crossed today the weather holds up somewhat for you as you go around at Gloucester Park. Ollie Cownie on the show as well, and I believe Ollie's got a few questions in regards to your drives today.
Hi, Mitch. Might just quickly touch on your drives from Friday. You had the drive in the free-for-all, Soho Dow Jones, who led there and was beaten by a pretty nice horse in Never Ending. What did you think of that effort?
On face value, I think me and Kim were both a little bit disappointed with him. Obviously, not realistically expecting to be Never Ending. That's an almost impossible task for the way that horse has come back this time. And but I think Talks Of a Storm had a nice trail, but I think we still would have been maybe a pass mark had he finished a little bit closer, sort of not being beaten as easy as what he was. But he was coming off three runs in a row, coming off a spell. So maybe we just went one too many times. But he'll have a week off this Friday and then go around again the following week, and hopefully he's back to hitting the line well like he was previously.
In race 8, I was really impressed by the run of Crowd Control there. Did all the work in the early stages and was still battling on late in the race. I thought he looked a winner on the corner. Did you feel the same?
Yeah, I did, mate. I think sort of we all had the same opinion that once Belly's horse had the cold sit on me the last 800, and when that horse peeled off my back, I really thought we were in a bit of trouble there. And I think my bloke, maybe the only downside to his career maybe to date was the fact that he's never really been one to dig into the fight, and maybe he's lost a few races that he should have won because of that. But I was over the moon with him. The fact that he beat off Belly's horse the way he did, and probably just really unlucky that Shuey got a beautiful run through and was able to save up as long as he was, and but couldn't have been happy with my bloke in the way that he went.
Definitely looks like a win's not far away. We might touch on your drives today. In race 2, you got the Esplanade, won in March on debut before a last start 7th. How do you see her measuring up against some nice ones today?
I think she'll find it pretty tough, mate. She's not a super gated horse, and she does do a fair bit wrong, even though she has got that one win on the board. But I think she's a horse. She might just need a little bit more time before you make her a better 3-year-old, I think, in the long term. But from today, from that draw, I think she'll just be just a watch, and maybe she's one to follow a bit further down the track.
In race 5, you've got Our Lily Lou, who really flew off the gate last start and led for most of the way. Copped a bit of pressure there. I thought she battled on pretty well. How do you see her going today?
I think I was really happy with her at Bunbury. Pre-race, if you had said that we were going to break the 155 and get beat, you'd be quite surprised. But that's the way it happened. I think she probably went as good as she can go, and she's had a really good prep this time back in. She's only missed the check once, and I think today she looks to get a quite comfortable lead, and there sort of looks to be a lack of pressure, and I think that she should be able to get away with enough and get the job done.
Another one that looks really hard to beat for you today, race 7, Tantabiddy, a horse with great gate speed. Assuming you'd be wanting to lead the whole way today.
Yeah, that's definitely his best asset. I think he can when he draws bad, he can actually be driven more conservative. He does have a good turn of foot, but with the barrier 1 and his gate speed, will take full advantage of that. And a horse like Rascals probably might have a touch of a class edge, but we'll keep that horse outside and give us our best chance of winning.
In race 10, you've got Jimmy Rocks going around. I thought he's been going really well this time in. Has he been a bit of a surprise how well he's going?
He is, definitely. At home, his Saturday work and especially his track work, he doesn't really give you any indications of being a horse that's got a huge stack of ability. He's always had a really good heart rate. That's one thing I know that Kim's always had good raps on him, is that he we always thought that as long as he took his attitude to the races like he does, and he just becomes a bit of a different horse on race day, which you'd rather that than the alternative. And he's been an absolute little ripper, considering he's had a pretty tough start to his racing career with that nasty fall at Pinjarra, and that might have been enough to prevent most horses from wanting to come back to the track. But he's just a little ripper. He tries his guts out every time he goes out there, and I actually thought today that he might be a bit of a chance to sort of roll to the top, and given the one led last week and was a bit disappointing, I thought Jimmy would be a good chance, and if he led, I think he'd be pretty hard to run down.
Looks like you've got some good chances today. Thanks very much for coming on, Mitch, and good luck. Hopefully you drive a few winners.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And thank you to you as well, Ollie, for joining us this morning on Off and Pacing, as you do every week. And plenty of tips for racing today as well as tomorrow. We'll be back next week with Off and Pacing. Ollie, thank you very much for your company. Have a great day.
Thanks very much, Lau. You too.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.